Tech companies run the world nowadays, and it's not like I hate them like I said in the title, but sometimes I just question their decision making, especially since they're supposed to be run by some of the smartest people in the world. So, let's start off with the Great RAM Depression of 25. It doesn't sound right though. Of 25? Like if it was like the Great RAM Depression of 89, that would sound way cooler, but the RAM Depression of 25, you know, it's fine. You guys know what I mean. This is probably the best place to start because this quite literally affects everybody, because no matter what you're watching this on, you're using RAM right now. Also, the surge in price of RAM has been caused by AI, and basically everybody I know hates AI in one way or another, whether we're talking about stupid AI videos. Okay, so basically I had this video of Trump dancing to the Tyler trend thing, and it got copyrighted, so now I have to sing it, so enjoy. You're gonna make me free. Permission if you love me, need permission. Yeah, anyways, if you didn't like that, then subscribe so I can afford actual singing lessons. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. AI songs. Or the AI chatbots, like Copilot, which is being shoved so far up our arses. If you're a Windows user, you would know. But don't worry, we're going to go over Copilot and MicroSlop later in the video. But let's go back to the RAM prices, because they can't be that bad, right? Well, that's where you'd be extremely wrong, because here you can see graphs of basically every type of RAM, every like configuration. So you've got different sizes, different speeds, you've got DDR4, DDR5, and every single graph showing the price of all these RAMs goes up pretty sharply in the last like couple of months. And if I'm being completely honest, this isn't even that bad. I've seen a lot worse price increases, like this one. So like I said before, the main culprit of this is AI and the amount of processing power these data centers need. And for some reason, everyone wants to focus on how AI is killing the polar bears and using water. And let's be honest, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, look at this video. The AI clearly saves the polar bear from explosions and then gives him a job. And look at his hat. It even says, "I love AI." But back onto these data centers. The amount of processing power that they need means that they get all of the RAM and we don't, causing the price to increase. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should put the genie back in the bottle, because I like AI, especially the cute anime girls that call me a good boy.
You weird.
I'm just saying that we shouldn't be the ones to feel the consequences of all of these AI tech products or whatever. Like, most of them aren't even useful. Like that thing Razer is making. The tube with the cute anime girls and Faker inside of it. Like, who's gonna use that? I think AI should be like limited to like just ChatGPT. That's all it should be. Like when I'm on a website shopping for something and in the bottom right corner, it's like, do you need help with anything? Do you know what you're looking for? You know, something like that. As if there isn't already a fucking search bar. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I've got a good 32 gigs of RAM. I shouldn't be the one to complain. So the demand for RAM has gone up. And recently, the supply has also gone down, because in December, Micron announced that Crucial is going to exit from the consumer business. So basically, no RAM for us, only RAM for AI. Actually, you know what? I might be putting words in their mouth. Let's read exactly what they said. The AI-driven growth in the data center has led to a surge in demand for memory and storage. Micron has made the difficult decision to exit the Crucial consumer business in order to improve supply and support for our larger strategic customers in faster growing segments. So yeah, that's just a fancy roundabout way of saying
we do not care.
Because AI needs more RAM. And AI is better than us because they pay more. But it's not only Micron making these weird decisions that only benefit shareholders. Because MicroSlop recently has been making quite the chain of unfortunate decisions. Like the fact that you still have to use AA batteries to power a controller for the Xbox. Like seriously, the PS5 controller uses USB-C and has a rechargeable battery inside of it. Just like a normal phone would have. But Xbox wants to be different. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the entire company of MicroSlop and start with the most recent thing that I saw. Leaked Windows 11 feature shows Copilot moving into File Explorer. Microsoft is testing a hidden chat with Copilot button in the Windows 11 File Explorer, signaling deeper AI search and a coming agent launcher framework. So in Windows 11, we already have this feature where you can ask Copilot about a file using the Copilot app, but this new feature is supposed to be like built into File Explorer. So instead of using the Copilot app, it's just going to be like already part of File Explorer. And I'm gonna say it, File Explorer on Windows,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Like, it takes so long to search for files on any sort of storage device, like SSDs, hard drives, it doesn't matter. It takes ages, but when I use other apps, it works perfectly fine. So I really don't think there's a need to bloat File Explorer even more. But then again, maybe this is Microsoft's way of coping with the fact that Copilot is the least used AI out of most of the AIs, with a total market share of 1.2%, and it hasn't even had any significant changes recently. But it's not just regular people that are complaining about Copilot being everywhere, because Dell made a pretty interesting statement at CES. One thing you'll notice is the message we deliver around our products was not AI first. It's not that Dell doesn't care about AI or AI PCs anymore. It's just that over the past year or so, it's come to realize that the consumer doesn't. So Dell as a company has like reduced their focus on AI in their laptops and just focused on, you know, the actual quality of the laptop, because the consumers don't care. And they know the consumers don't care. So what the hell's up with all these other companies just deciding to keep on going through this like Pandora's box of AI? Okay, so while I was making this video, Copilot apparently got like hacked. I'm not too sure how it works, but it's called a reprompt and it allows people to get sensitive data from the AI. Okay, so I just read into it. Apparently somebody, like the hacker, would send a link that looks like Copilot to somebody. They would click on it and they would start using Copilot. And then while Copilot is being used, it would be accessing data in the background and taking like personal information and stuff. Something like that. You can read up on it if you want. Like I was saying before, Xbox has also been in some hot water for making some terrible decisions. Although these decisions did happen a while ago. Like the price of actual Xboxes has gone up twice, once in May and once in October of last year. So here are some of the prices now. The Xbox Series S with 500 GB of storage went from $300 to $400. The 1TB version also went up by about $100. The Xbox Series X, the digital version, went from $450 to $600. And the Xbox Series X, like disc version, went from $500 to $650. So a price increase of about $150. Honestly, like at that point, there's basically no incentive to buy an Xbox. Like it just seems so inconvenient. And now it's extremely expensive. Like there's only one thing I could think of, and that's the quick resume feature, which is pretty cool, but it only works well for offline games, so it doesn't really matter. And now we have games that load in like less than 10 seconds, you know, like Ghost of Yotei or Death Stranding on PS5. So quick resume doesn't even matter that much if it's just gonna save you 10 seconds. But you know what? What about Xbox's magnum opus, the Game Pass? Being able to play an entire catalog of about 400 games for the extremely reasonable price of $15 a month. What? That much? Are you sure? Okay, well, I've got some bad news for you guys. The price of the good level of the Game Pass damn near doubled to about £30, which is completely like unreasonable. I mean, £30 a month just to play a bunch of games that like no one's ever heard of. Because I'm gonna be completely honest, there's about 20 good games in Game Pass, and most of them are either like super old or like old enough to the point where you've probably already played them. The other like 300 or so games are just like really like indie titles. But don't worry guys, the level that lets you play online on your Xbox is still £7 a month. Don't you worry, it's only £7 a month to use the internet, which I can never wrap my head around. Paying to play online seems like the biggest con of all time. So in the intro, I mentioned that AWS owns about 30% of cloud infrastructure. Well, the issue with that is that if AWS goes down, so does the rest of the internet, which is exactly what happened in October, when one of AWS's main servers, US East 1, had some sort of critical failure, which caused it to shut down for about 15 hours, causing over 1,000 online services such as Uber, HMRC, which is like, it's kind of like the UK version of the IRS. So imagine not being able to file your taxes because AWS is down. Fortnite, Snapchat, and worst of all, C.ai, aka character AI, aka the place that we spend most of our time on the internet. All of these services being shut down total to about 17 million down detector requests, completely just flooding in. And about a month after this AWS thing, Cloudflare also went down, leading to a huge spike in error status codes lasting about 3 hours. So not as long as the 15 hours of AWS going down, but that's still really bad because it affected services like Twitter, which we are not going to be calling X, okay? It doesn't matter how long it stays as X, we will not be calling it that. ChatGPT, Spotify, and PayPal were also down. And to make matters even worse, there was another outage in about December with Microsoft Azure. But then again, we're talking about Microsoft, so no one really cares. So I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.